At first glance, insecurity rarely looks like weakness. In fact, it often disguises itself as confidence, dominance, charm, or even success. One of the clearest signs that someone is secretly insecure is overcompensation. These individuals feel an intense internal fear of being judged, ignored, or seen as inadequate, so they consciously or unconsciously exaggerate certain traits to cover that fear. Overconfidence is a classic example. They may speak louder than necessary, exaggerate their achievements, interrupt others frequently, or dominate conversations. This behavior is not rooted in true self-belief, but rather in the fear that if they stop performing, they will become invisible or unimportant. True confidence is calm and steady, while insecurity is noisy and desperate for validation. Another common sign is excessive attention-seeking. Insecure individuals crave external validation because they lack internal reassurance. They may constantly post on social media, seek compliments, or try to be the center of attention in every setting. Their happiness often depends on how much approval they receive from others. Likes, praise, and recognition become emotional oxygen. Without them, they feel empty, anxious, or restless. This dependence on external validation reveals a deep uncertainty about their own worth. Instead of feeling secure in who they are, they rely on others to tell them they are enough. Insecurity also manifests through comparison. Secretly insecure people are constantly measuring themselves against others, even when there is no competition. They compare careers, appearances, relationships, income, and popularity. This habit is exhausting and emotionally damaging, yet they cannot stop. Every success of someone else feels like a personal failure. Instead of being inspired, they feel threatened. This comparison mindset reveals an internal belief that self-worth is limited, that if someone else is winning, they must be losing. People who are secure do not feel diminished by others' success. Insecure individuals do. Another subtle sign is the need to control how others perceive them. Insecure people often curate a carefully constructed image. They may exaggerate their lifestyle, hide vulnerabilities, or present a version of themselves that they believe will be accepted. This constant performance creates emotional fatigue and anxiety because maintaining a false image requires constant effort. The fear of being found out, of others seeing their true self, becomes overwhelming. This fear stems from the belief that their authentic self is not good enough. Bragging is another telltale sign. While it may appear as pride, bragging often masks deep insecurity. Insecure individuals frequently highlight their accomplishments, possessions, or connections without being asked. They seek reassurance through admiration. The irony is that the more they brag, the more they reveal their need for validation. Secure people let their actions speak for themselves. Insecure people feel the need to announce their worth. Insecurity can also show up as extreme sensitivity to criticism. Even constructive feedback may feel like a personal attack. Insecure individuals may become defensive, angry, or withdrawn when criticized. This reaction occurs because criticism confirms their deepest fear, that they are not good enough. Instead of seeing feedback as an opportunity for growth, they perceive it as proof of their inadequacy. As a result, they may avoid situations where they could be evaluated or judged, limiting their growth and potential. Lastly, humor can sometimes be a defense mechanism. Self-deprecating jokes, sarcasm, or constant humor can hide insecurity. While humor can be healthy, excessive use may indicate discomfort with seriousness or vulnerability. Insecure individuals may use jokes to deflect attention from their true feelings or to preempt criticism by mocking themselves before others can. This behavior reflects. Another major indicator of hidden insecurity is emotional reactivity. Insecure individuals often experience intense emotional responses to seemingly minor events. A delayed reply, a change in tone, or a perceived lack of attention can trigger anxiety, anger, or sadness. These reactions are not about the situation itself. Jealousy is one of the most visible expressions of insecurity. While occasional jealousy is normal, chronic jealousy points to a deeper issue. Insecure people fear losing what they have because they do not believe they are worthy of it. They may feel threatened by their partner's friends, colleagues, or even past relationships. This jealousy can lead to controlling behaviors, constant questioning, or emotional manipulation. The root of this behavior is not love, but fear. Fear of being replaced, forgotten, or deemed insufficient. Fear of abandonment plays a significant role in insecure behavior. These individuals may cling to relationships, tolerate disrespect, or suppress their needs to avoid being alone. They may agree to things they are uncomfortable with or stay silent during conflict. This pattern stems from the belief that being alone equals failure or unworthiness. Rather than seeing solitude as an opportunity for growth, they see it as proof that something is wrong with them. Insecure individuals may also display passive-aggressive behavior. Instead of expressing their feelings directly, they use indirect methods such as sarcasm, silent treatment, or subtle guilt tripping. This behavior arises from fear of confrontation and rejection. They want their needs met but are afraid to ask for them openly. As a result, relationships become strained and confusing. Another sign is constant reassurance seeking. Insecure people frequently ask questions like, "Do you still care about me?" or "Are you mad at me?" While reassurance can be healthy in moderation, constant need for it indicates self-doubt. No amount of reassurance is ever enough because the insecurity comes from within. Each reassurance provides temporary relief but does not address the underlying issue. Emotional dependency is closely linked to insecurity. Insecure individuals may rely heavily on one person for emotional stability. Their mood, self-worth, and sense of identity become tied to that relationship. This dependency creates pressure and imbalance. When the relationship faces challenges, their emotional world collapses. Secure individuals maintain emotional independence while still valuing connection. Insecurity can also cause people to sabotage relationships. They may push others away, create conflict, or test loyalty. This behavior often stems from the belief that rejection is inevitable. By sabotaging the relationship first, they feel a sense of control over the pain. This self-fulfilling prophecy reinforces their insecurity and deepens their fear of connection. Lastly, insecure individuals often struggle with trust. Even without evidence, they may assume betrayal or hidden intentions. This lack of trust comes from internal self-doubt rather than external facts. When someone does not trust themselves, they struggle to trust others. This mindset creates emotional distance and prevents deep, healthy connections. Perfectionism is another powerful indicator of hidden insecurity. While striving for excellence can be positive, perfectionism driven by insecurity is rooted in fear. Insecure individuals believe that making mistakes will lead to rejection or failure. As a result, they set unrealistically high standards for themselves. They equate their worth with performance, productivity, or success. When they fall short, even slightly, they experience intense self-criticism and shame. People-pleasing is closely related to insecurity. Insecure individuals often prioritize others' needs above their own. They fear that asserting themselves will lead to conflict or rejection. Saying no feels dangerous. As a result, they overextend themselves, suppress their true feelings, and seek approval through self-sacrifice. While this may appear kind or generous, it often leads to resentment, burnout, and loss of identity. Avoidance is another common pattern. Insecure people may avoid challenges, difficult conversations, or new opportunities. They fear failure and judgment more than they desire growth. This avoidance limits their potential and reinforces the belief that they are incapable. Over time, avoidance becomes a coping mechanism that maintains insecurity rather than resolving it. Insecure individuals may also struggle with decision-making. They doubt their judgment and fear making the wrong choice. As a result, they seek excessive advice or reassurance from others. This behavior reflects a lack of self-trust. Secure individuals understand that mistakes are part of growth. Insecure individuals see mistakes as evidence of incompetence. Another sign is overthinking. Insecure people often replay conversations, analyze reactions, and imagine worst-case scenarios. Their mind becomes a battlefield of self-doubt and fear. This mental exhaustion stems from the need to control outcomes and avoid rejection. Overthinking creates anxiety and prevents presence and enjoyment. Insecurity can also manifest as emotional numbness. Some individuals suppress their emotions to avoid vulnerability. They may appear distant or indifferent, but this detachment is a defense mechanism. By disconnecting from their feelings, they protect themselves from potential pain. However, This also prevents genuine connection and emotional fulfillment. Procrastination is another subtle sign. Insecure individuals may delay tasks due to fear of failure. Starting feels risky because it exposes them to evaluation. Procrastination becomes a way to protect self-esteem. If they never fully try, they never fully fail. Unfortunately, this pattern reinforces feelings of inadequacy and regret. Lastly, insecure individuals often struggle with self-compassion. They are harsh critics of themselves and struggle to forgive mistakes. Their internal dialogue is often negative and unforgiving. This lack of self-kindness perpetuates insecurity and emotional pain. Insecurity does not just affect behavior, it shapes identity. Over time, insecure individuals internalize beliefs about their worth, abilities, and value. These beliefs influence every aspect of life: relationships, career choices, and self-expression. Insecurity creates a false narrative that defines who they believe they are. This narrative often includes thoughts such as, "I am not enough," "I must earn love," or "I will be rejected if I am myself." One of the most damaging effects of insecurity is loss of authenticity. Insecure individuals may suppress their true opinions, desires, or personality traits to fit in. They become chameleons, adapting to others' expectations. While this may bring temporary acceptance, it leads to inner emptiness. Living disconnected from one's true self creates emotional dissatisfaction and confusion. Insecurity also limits growth. Fear of failure prevents exploration. Fear of judgment prevents expression. Fear of rejection prevents connection. Over time, life becomes smaller and safer, but also less fulfilling. The tragedy of insecurity is not just emotional pain, but unrealized potential. Healing insecurity begins with awareness. Recognizing patterns and understanding their roots is the first step. Insecurity often develops from past experiences such as criticism, neglect, rejection, or trauma. These experiences shape beliefs that persist into adulthood. Understanding that insecurity is learned, not inherent, creates hope for change. Building self-worth from within is essential. This involves separating worth from achievement and approval. Self-worth must be unconditional. Practices such as self-reflection, journaling, therapy, and mindfulness can help rebuild internal validation. Learning to speak kindly to oneself is a powerful act of healing. Setting boundaries is another crucial step. Insecure individuals must learn to say no without guilt. Boundaries protect energy, identity, and emotional health. They teach others how to treat us and reinforce self-respect. Embracing vulnerability is also key. True confidence comes from accepting imperfections. Vulnerability allows authentic connection and growth. When individuals stop hiding their flaws, they discover that they are worthy even when imperfect. Lastly, insecurity heals through consistent self-trust. Making decisions, taking risks, and learning from mistakes builds confidence. Each act of courage weakens insecurity. Over time, the internal narrative shifts from fear to self-belief. In conclusion, insecurity is not always visible, but its effects are profound. By understanding its signs and addressing its roots, individuals can reclaim their authenticity, confidence, and emotional freedom.